What is going on, world, and welcome to another video where I respond to your YouTube comments. Now, this comment is actually a comment that I made to a comment on someone else's comment. So we're going like comment inception here. So if you guys are interested, this comment comes from my vegan versus meat experiments video. In this video, I explain and I discuss why I am currently not vegan, and I also challenge Vegan Gains to join me on my hormonal testing journey so we can start comparing different people out there in the world who are already documenting their lives and the different factors they implement into their lives, like Vegan Gains and myself. I would love to see 100, 1,000, 10,000 people who are all documenting their lives on YouTube, documenting the foods, the nutrition, the type of exercises they do, and then they get regular, frequent hormonal testing done on their body, like let's say weekly. Then we can see how the factors that are going into their lives are actually affecting their bodies long term. One of the things that I've learned and discovered throughout my journey is that life is situational. Something that might work for you at the age of 20 might not work or might not be as optimal for you at the age of 40 or 50 or 60. So this is one of the things that I discuss in this video, is that I believe as you age, we need to be changing how we are implementing certain factors into our lives. And I even discussed in that video is that right now I'm currently not vegan. My body is still developing. But as I start to get older, as I start to get into my 30s and 40s, I plan on switching to a more vegetarian and vegan diet. So I'm not spiking my growth hormone levels and my IGF-1 levels, so I can help to ensure that my life longevity is extended as long as possible. As we develop, as our minds are growing and our bodies are growing, I believe we need to be doing the things in our lives and implementing the factors into our lives that are going to help to make our bodies and our minds develop as optimally as possible. And then as we get older, once our bodies are done developing, I believe we need to start implementing the factors into our lives that reduce disease and help to extend our life longevity. So if you guys are interested, you can go check out that video. It'll pop up at the top of your screen right here. And you can also find it in the description box below. But let's get right into it here. So as I said, this comment came from another comment that I left. So if you guys want, you can pause the video here or screenshot it. Read through the first person here, Gustavo Rato. He just asked, so plant-based diet eaters have less testosterone. I left my little comment there for him. Well, it's not really little, it's about 4 or 5 paragraphs. So if you guys want, as I said, make sure you screenshot and read that. But we're gonna get into Z-Scart's response to my comment. He started out his comment with leaving a scientific piece of research there, and he said, let's be blunt here. This study has over 700 people, and it's also an Oxford study. It trumps your hypothetical study with Vegan Gains. It's from 2000, yes, but it still beat your hypothetical study consisting of 2 people. So as I said in the beginning of this video here, and as I even said in that video, that right now we need to set a precedent. We need to set a certain standard for people out there in the world. So if people do want to become human experiments, if they want a reason to become a YouTuber, to document their life for the purpose of scientific research, then we need to create a standard that these people go through. So that is exactly what I'm trying to do with my life and my YouTube channel. I'm trying to be a human experiment out there in the world. I'm trying to represent what I feel it means to be a human experiment by documenting my life and trying to be as open and honest about my life factors as much as possible. If we have, as I said, 500, 1,000, 10,000 people doing this, we can collect all this information and data, and then we can make a comparison and find out the differences and why certain factors are helping certain people, or why certain factors are causing people to die earlier or causing certain diseases to happen. Right now, all our scientific research, and I've made a video about this, researching scientific research, that it is very easy to go find a title on the internet that matches and agrees with your opinions and ideas in life. But there's also 10 other articles that will refute that article. So I didn't even respond to his comment because it's just gonna be too much, and that's why I'm making this video here. So let's get into it, and let's get into his specific piece of scientific research here that he left for us. So when I click on that, it takes us to the British Journal of Cancer. So specifically, they're looking at how vegan diets and meat-eating diets affect cancer, not life optimization, not overall health. Cancer is also a very broad term. There's many different types of cancers. So saying that this leads to cancer is a very loose thing to say, but let's get right into it. So the title of this article is called Hormones and Diet. Low insulin-like growth factor 1, but normal bioavailable androgens in vegan men. So I read through a decent portion of this article, but I want to discuss basically the end here and where it's the discussion. So if you look at the last paragraph of the discussion, it says here, the results did not support the hypothesis that meat eaters have higher levels of bioavailable androgen than non-meat eaters. No differences in hormone levels were found between meat eaters and lacto-ovo vegetarians, suggesting that vegetarian diets may not alter prostate cancer levels. But the relatively low IGF-1 levels in vegans might reduce their risk of prostate cancer. So that's the discussion or the summary of their research here and what they did. So in the results category of this article, it states here that vegan men had on average 9% lower IGF-1 levels than meat eaters and 8% lower levels than vegetarians. So according to this article, where they're trying to prove that a certain diet does not affect cancer, yes, your IGF-1 levels are lower, which from this article, and depending on what research you look at, that IGF-1 levels may affect cancer and prostate cancer. But, and here I'm gonna post up an article about the surprising truth about IGF-1 and how to increase and inhibit it. So, IGF-1 is a very finicky thing. You don't want to have too high IGF-1, but you also don't want to have too low IGF-1. And again, I believe that this is all situational and it depends on where you are at in your life. I believe while your body's still developing, you want to have higher IGF-1 levels. But then, as your body's done developing and you're trying to increase life longevity, you want to lower those IGF-1 levels down. But let's go over IGF-1 and what it is. So IGF-1 is insulin-like growth factor 1. IGF-1 is a hormone that is similar in structure to insulin and works with growth hormone to reproduce and regenerate cells. Growth hormone made by the pituitary gland stimulates the liver to produce IGF-1. IGF-1 subsequently stimulates growth in cells throughout the body, leading to growth and development, as in the womb through adolescence, strengthening of tissues, depending on what the body needs. IGF-1 is so crucial to development that if it is not present in adequate amounts during the time when a child is developing, a short stature may develop. So right there, just from looking at what is IGF-1, it is saying that if you have lower IGF-1 levels, it might hinder you in a lot of areas in your life in terms of health. Having higher IGF-1 levels stimulates growth and development, strengthening of tissues, and healing of skin, bones, and gut lining. Yet, the article that this guy left for me states that IGF-1 in vegan men is 9% lower than in meat eaters. So, I don't understand. Does this guy not understand what IGF-1 is and how it works in the body? Because right here, he's trying to refute what I am saying, yet he's refuting himself. So, I don't even know what to say. Should I even keep diving into this? As I said there, if you have too much IGF-1 or too low IGF-1, that can have a serious cause on some different factors in your life. So if you guys are interested, and I really suggest reading through the rest of that article that I was discussing here, I'll post it in the description box below if you guys want to go check it out. Again, which I really suggest it does, because right here it states, overall, however, having either low or high GF1 increases risk of dying of all causes. You want to be right in this perfect range, and as I said, I believe that changes over the course of our lives. Now, Zed/Scart, you also say that my hypothetical study would be inaccurate. it would have lots of flaws. Well, so does your study. Your study was done on 750 white males, which works perfect for me. If I want to know how a white male is being affected, which is myself, then that's awesome information to have. But that's not a very broad study. That's not a very broad test group to be studying on. Along with that, they only disregarded them in a few instances. One was subjects were excluded if they had a self-reported history of cancer or were taking medication known to influence hormone levels. We also excluded those who had insufficient serum available for analysis. That's the only kind of credentials that they disregarded people on. How do we know that some of these people weren't high-level athletes while other people were lazy-ass fucks? I have no way to go and dive into one of these people's lives and to understand how they were living their lives and why their test results came to this type of a conclusion. All we know is one factor of their life, and that is that they ate vegan, and that the other test groups ate meat. There's no other factors going on. There's nothing for us to draw a conclusion upon. So this study is just as loosely based as what you think my study would be, based off two people. So this is my challenge with the world. This is some of the stuff that I go through, and this is a big reason I started this responding to comments YouTube series. When I get involved in some of these comments and I actually dive into some of the scientific research people leave for me, there's lots of holes in it. There's lots of place for error and lots of place to draw conclusions out of things that, they might not be 100%. It might be a little cloudy. And this is why I have to make videos, because if I just leave a response to him, he'll just find a loophole in my scientific research, which there is. But this is what we need to do. We need to change how we are scientifically testing human beings in this world. So that is all I have to say about this in this YouTube comment here. Thank you very much, Z-Scart, for leaving your piece of research and your comment. This is very important for me and my journey. You are helping me to become a better person. You are helping me to make sure that I understand all the things that I'm researching and doing with my life. Because I post up a video and then I get several people who bring in research that is very close to them and that they agree with in their lives. And then I am able to dive into that research and discover for myself why we need to change how we study and figure out things about human beings' lives. We can't just do the same studies that we did in the 60s and 70s. Now that we have the beauty of the internet and YouTube and being able to document our lives, we need to change how we do scientific research. And that is all I'm trying to say here. We are never going to be able to figure anything out in this world because of stuff like this. Because people are just constantly posting up research, yet there's tons of other research that refutes all the research. We need to find a new way to test human beings and a new way to get around this scientific research. So if you agree with me, if you guys think that we need to be testing human beings in a different way, then please go leave a comment. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. And on your way down there, make sure you go hit that like button. I am the Hungarian Experiment.